Thank you.
May begin.
Okay, let's start all over. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Legal Insight session. Before we get started, there are just a few announcements. On Tuesday, October 15th, Michael Kenny will join us. Michael is a private investigator in both Nashville and Ohio who specializes in high-profile stalking cases and is also the author of Think Like a Stalker and Stop Them. On Thursday, October 17th, John Bauer Esquire will join the Workers' Comp Roundtable to discuss loss of use awards. Registration for both of these meetings is available on the website. Don't forget our fall happy hour is scheduled for Wednesday, October 9th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Edison Brewing in Gahanna. Randy Daniels Blair will be holding an informational meeting with the OSBA Certified Paralegal Study Group on September 30th. Email Randy for more information. And finally, the PR committee will meet on October 2nd at noon to begin planning events for 2024 and 2025. This is a great way to get involved and meet new people. After further ado, I'd like to introduce Karen Patterson. She's a court reporter for 30 plus years, owned a court reporting firm for 10 of those years, became director of business development with Ranillo Deposition and Discovery in 2006. Veritext Legal Solutions purchased Ranillo in 2011 and stayed on with Veritext in a senior account executive role, business development with Veritext Legal Solutions, a national technology-based court reporting company. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Heather. Thanks everybody for taking the time to come in and listen to what I have to say. And I'm going to make a personal confession right before we start. So I had a PowerPoint all set for you guys, and I changed it at the last minute. So I'm going to ask you to bear with me on some of the transitions. They may be a little clunky. I'm going to try to make them not so clunky. But here we go. So I don't know how many of you on the call have worked with Veritext in the past. I know Mindy Schaefer has, and Andrew Minister, I want to introduce him to you. Andrew is a colleague of mine in the Columbus area, so he may or may not be your personal Veritext rep. I work in the Columbus area as well. But I wanted to welcome Andrew, and I asked him if he would maybe be my little wingman. Not little wingman, but help me out a little bit here because, again, I changed this whole thing and I want to make sure that we hit on the things that are most relevant to you. So as far as an agenda, I wanted to discuss security a little bit because it's a huge topic. And security is probably one of the most important things when choosing a court reporting firm. And then I wanted to go over court reporting, videography, our services, subpoena services, online notary, and actually right here, we do subpoenas, we do online notary, we do court reporting, videography, but as you can see in the highlighted text, I'm going to be focusing on My Veritext, which is our client portal, and Mindy Schaefer has a lot of experience with that, and she can, at least I think you do, Mindy, you schedule through that. She can pipe in remote depositions, which is called Veritext Virtual. We'll cover that a little bit. And also I want to cover Smart Summary, which is a newer product that Veritext has put out. It's great. It's a AI generated deposition summary. And we'll go into that a little bit more. Now I will be transitioning. Like I said, it may be a little clunky, but I hope not. So I just want to say that we work as a partner with all our firms. And our biggest MO is to put you, your attorneys, in the best position to present your case, supporting you with service, technology, and security. I also want you to know, as I may be your rep, Andrew might be your rep, we are always here to help you. So if your attorney comes to you with something that, you go, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do about that, no problem, just contact us. We'll give you that contact information in a post. We'll give you the PowerPoint and other information post CLE today. All right. Now, here's, again, the most important thing. Behind everything Veritext does is security. We have a wonderful CTO. His name is Tony, and he's done wonderful things for our company. We have very tight security. Reason being, 1 out of every 4 law firms are hacked. And the hacking comes through third-party vendors. like court reporting firms or maybe record supplier or people who do subpoenas. So it's very important when you choose a court reporting firm to make sure that you are choosing somebody that has really great security. And if you have any questions, I know Heather, you're working the chat feature, just pop in. I'm happy to answer them. So we comply obviously with HIPAA, PII, we're SOC 2 certified, and I had all that stuff written down. I know what the first two are, and there were even more. There's like GDPR, and there's a Canadian certification. We are certified by all these institutions as being cyber secure. Again, important to know. So I like this slide. Why does the right reporter matter? An attorney starting a deposition, right? They're in a room. Court reporter walks in. They don't know what's behind that court reporter. They don't know what kind of security their files, are being held in. They don't know things like, okay, can this person handle depositions nationwide? So Veritext is structured that we are local supporters of you, and we handle all nationwide coverage. And you can see there's some of our brick and mortar offices listed there. We have affiliates all over the country. We're one company, but we are, I don't want to say divided, but we do have separate regions. So we're homegrown, rooted in our local community. So anything coming out of Ohio from your firms, come to the Midwest, and I'll show you that in a second. I'm going to tell you about ways to schedule, because this is important. I've had numerous paralegals, legal assistants, attorneys say, hey, if I have a deposition in Atlanta, can I just call your Atlanta office? Well, you could. The only thing with that is I may never know about it. Andrew may never know about it. So we won't, if we don't know about it, we don't know things are happening. And then we may get an email 2 weeks later, hey, can I get an expedite or a rough draft? So this is what I recommend. There's 3 ways to schedule. You can call the number listed here, 216-523-1313. It's a local number. We also have an 888 number that will go to people in our Midwest, our calendar client service team, and they will pick up. And you can email Calendar Midwest. I always suggest CCing your rep, whether it be me, Andrew, or there's another Ohio rep, Tyler Warner. I don't know if he's on the call. And thirdly, you can schedule through myveritext.com. That is our client portal. And in my opinion, the best way to schedule. All the other ways are fine, calling, emailing, whatever you're more comfortable with. But MyVeritext, I'm going to show you what that looks like and what you can do through that. Any questions on scheduling? Just always go through Calendar Midwest, no matter where you are. We can hook you up throughout the whole country. Questions? Okay. Moving on to MyVeritext. This is your place for everything Veritext. Instant, easy, secure access to scheduling, accessing your remote proceedings, downloading transcripts, exhibits, searching across transcripts and exhibits, creating exhibit reports. That's one of my most favorite things in this, and I'll tell you why in a second. And adding on to that, video downloads are now available in MyVeritext. They used to not be. They went through a platform called Ignite, but now they are available through MyVeritext. So here, let me go here. How do you get to MyVeritext, right? I love this little thing. Exhibit Share is a solution for the ages. Partner at Morrison Foerster. Well, I mean, a lot of court reporting companies have something like this, but ours is, I think, really, superior. But it's really a great vehicle to do everything you need to do. So in order to get an account, you literally can go to myveritext.com. It will bring a screen up like this for you, and it says, don't have an account? Sign up. If you have an account and you have forgotten your password, you type in your email and you can reset your password, and then you simply log in. And then you come to this. So if you have depositions scheduled, you'll see these, what look like cards. And you can see the first one, Rachel Hoban, ABC Widget versus some other lengthy name here, Inc., has services in those green boxes attached to it. So Rachel scheduled a virtual deposition. She added on exhibit share, which we'll go into, and she also added on real time. So you can access all those things by literally clicking on each of those buttons. With one click, you can join the virtual, and then you can join the exhibit share. It's super simple. People love it. It's just a matter of getting used to it. You know, any technology, but I like to say this technology is not hard to use. And I always say, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Trust me. So here we have somebody else. So Tyler's joining us. Tyler's our colleague in the Dayton, Cincinnati area. Hi, Tyler. So here is a calendar view in my Veritext, and you can see that there are color-coded schedulings. The red is a cancellation. You can look at your attorney's calendar. Okay, so how do you know what you see in here? Say if Mindy Schaefer schedules for Brant Poling, she will see his depositions, or anybody else in her firm. In order to do that, we have to connect you with the attorneys that you work with. When you schedule and say you schedule for, John Doe attorney, John Doe attorney's exhibits or depositions will show up in your calendar right here. I think one of the neatest things about my Veritext is called Snap Scheduling. And if you see on this box over here on the left, it says drag and drop notice. You can literally take a notice, drag and drop it into that box, and we have got you covered. So we'll schedule that deposition for you. The only caveat with that is you don't want to do it like the day before. We have people on our team that will actually go through every Veritext Snap scheduling and make sure that it's on our calendar correctly. Now, when you go through the scheduling process, you will see step one, proceeding basics. You're scheduling an arbitration, all of these things. I don't have to read them off to you, but you'll pick one, and then you'll go to step number two. This is actually step three. Okay. Where will this proceeding take place? We have in-person choice, we have remote, and we have hybrid. And I will say the interesting thing is, COVID, we were all remote, and we had all these products prior to COVID. It's just that they weren't really as well utilized as much, I should say, as they were during COVID. And now, post-COVID, we have a lot of what are called hybrid proceedings. So you may have a court reporter in a room with, say, a doctor in Massachusetts, and then all the attorneys are attending the deposition remotely. So you would choose a hybrid proceeding, and they would, you'll be walked through the next steps. Now, the last screen you'll get is you'll check off the things that you need. Court reporter, videographer, exhibit share. Again, I'll talk about that. Exhibit capture, that's an advanced technology feature that I'm not going to go over today, but that is available to view in our website at veritext.com, which is a wealth of information. It's an incredible website put together. It's got tutorials, etc., on every single one of our products. Once this is all done, you will click on add proceedings. I think that says add. No, that's a promo code. We do have promo codes every now and then, but you will click on save, and then you'll see this success, you are all set. And you'll receive an email confirmation for this particular deposition. And I always say, if for some reason you do not receive an email confirmation, something may be off. And I would always, email Calendar Midwest, copy your rep on it, say, hey, I didn't get my email confirmation. Sometimes they get caught up in spam. So we can resend or figure out why you did not receive it. This is the fun part. So when the transcripts and the exhibits have been completed, they all end up in your MyVeritext account. So you can find them 24/7. You can do this on a mobile device. You can do this on an iPad. You can do this on your computer. You can do this laying in bed at night when you say, oh my gosh, did that transcript come in? You can simply log into MyVeritext on any device and see that, okay, it's in. And it just is awesome. So there's a universal search bar at the top, and you can search for a particular case, a particular deposition, anything that you're looking for, exhibit files, and it's a very fast search. And I will say too that Veritext is always working on upgrades on all of our products. And what you're looking at right now has been a fairly recent upgrade, and they happen. So you keep an eye out for that. So recapping MyVeritext, instant, easy access. I want to add secure to that. Simple scheduling, access remote proceedings, download transcripts, exhibits, universal search, 24/7 secure access. Going back though, I want to go back to the exhibit download. So you can actually search for a case. Say you have hundreds of exhibits in it, and you are looking for something specific. You can go in here, search that case, search the exhibits, and download them all to an Excel spreadsheet that is actually editable. So if your attorney ever says, hey, I need to know all the exhibits that were marked in this case, it's right there for you. Pretty awesome. Any questions on the instant, easy access MyVeritext? Anybody? No? Okay, we'll move on. So Veritext Virtual, these are the virtual proceedings that you can schedule through MyVeritext. And again, you can also schedule by email and by calling, whatever you're most comfortable with. Veritext Virtual is our branding for virtual depositions. They're secure remote proceedings. Before one of these is scheduled, it is always wise, and I'm going to send this along with the PowerPoint, to let us know all the participants. Why? Because if they are not listed in a particular deposition, they won't directly receive a link. The taking attorney or the schedule will get a notification saying, hey, send this to all the parties in the case if we don't know. If you're using Exhibit Share, we really need to know all the parties because that is email driven. And that way they will receive notification that there'll be Exhibit Share used. If they don't have an account, they can set it up and have viewing rights to the taking attorney's exhibits. I hope that makes sense. That's kind of a lot, but again, I want to offer to all of you, if you want to know more about each individual product, if you'd like a more in-depth demo of these products, I am happy to do it. Any one of our reps is happy to do it for you. Don't hesitate to reach out and say, hey, Karen, can you show me a Veritext Virtual, live, basically a live account? And I can do that for you. Andrew can do that for you. Tyler can do that for you, any of us. So here, again, we scheduled a virtual proceeding. You can take a speed test to make sure your computer's up to par for it. I have not seen one computer fail a speed test. So generally that's okay, but it's a wise thing to do. And then here with the Mary Jones deposition, they're just doing virtual because we don't have an Exhibit Share box. We don't have a real-time box. So you would just click on that Join Virtual session and it will take you into that session. So in a nutshell, we all know that Veritext Virtual saves time and travel cost. There's no special software required, which is great. We have secure encryption, real-time integration, and public and private chat. One thing I do want to mention here, because it does come up every now and then, I'll log into some virtual depositions that might have exhibit share, and maybe I have a feeling that the witness didn't get it set up properly. And to that point, we will train anybody, opposing counsel, your witness, taking counsel, we'll train them in how to use exhibit share. It takes like literally 5 minutes, and it really allows for your deposition to start on time. So if you get a witness in there and they don't know, they didn't recognize receiving the email, their attorneys didn't tell them, we can get them set up pretty quickly. So email addresses, names are the most important thing when setting up a virtual deposition, especially with exhibit share. So this is the point where I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to go into an exhibit share demo. So again, I might be a little clunky here, but let's see. Any questions on my Veritext? Any comments from anybody?
Yeah. Hey, Karen. So we had a speaker from Trial Tech come to us last or early this January, and I wondered, do you integrate with any other of these systems that help support trials and big law firms like that? Like
we do.
Seem to have one kind of service. They have another.
Are you talking about like Trial Director and other trial support software? Yeah, we do. We do. That's a whole other subject, but yes, we do. But pretty much everything we do is importable. You can make video clips, import them. I didn't include video clips on here, but that is something that you can import. All the transcripts and exhibits come in different file types. And I didn't mention that when we were in the My Veritext screen, but you will have multiple file types loaded. You'll have PDF with linked exhibits. You'll have text file. A lot of times you'll need a text file to import into one of those programs, but we supply multiple. And then if there's a file type that isn't in our usual, default, you can let us know, hey, I need this file type, and we can provide that for you. Does that answer your question, Lori?
It does. Thank you. So Veritext really does a good job of integrating with other support technology. That's great.
Yes, we do.
Sounds like COVID was a real game changer for this industry.
Yeah, isn't it the truth? I mean, so many things. And I'll tell you, the technology is getting better and better and more sophisticated. I think over the next couple of years, you're going to see like just tons of new tech coming out from us, from everybody. That line is just shooting up. AI is becoming a large part, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But again, I'm covering the basics of what people might need to set up depositions at this point in time. So, exhibit share. So how do you set that up? Well, when you schedule, you say, I need exhibit share. And I want to make a distinction. Let me grab some water. Exhibit share and screen share are two different terms. So a lot of times we'll get people calling in and say, hey, I want to share my exhibits. And they're talking to a calendar team member. And it could be misinterpreted as I want exhibit share. This is a totally different product than screen sharing. You can screen share exhibits. It's totally fine. And the other thing you can do is you can also set up your own virtual depositions, send us a link, and then we forward that to the recorder. But this is exhibit share, which is our electronic stamping and introduction tool. And this is, I think, really state of the art. And I'm excited to say an upgrade is in beta testing right now. It is going to be phenomenal. It's super fast. You can pre-mark exhibits. It will be on Veritext platform versus Ignite platform that it's currently on. So I think the rollout for that is probably the beginning of the year. But this, what I'm showing you today, is what is being used. So when you schedule a deposition, you say I want exhibit share, you'll receive an email saying set up your account. This is a demo account I'm showing you, but you would go into this and you would type in your username, which would be your email address, and a password. Okay, and if you don't have an account, it will ask you to create one. So I'm going to log into it. And this is what exhibit share looks like when you first log in. I have a lot of people say, oh, there's nothing in there. No, there isn't. Not yet anyway. So to the left here, we have the file tree. This is a demo account again. It's demo 003. Click on the arrow that says depositions. We see deposition of Veritex M.W. Harrison. That's the witness. Click on that. There'll be two folders. And this will be the same thing in the new version. We have a marked exhibit folder, and then we have a private folder. This private folder is literally equivalent to a banker's box. So if you've ever sat second chair to one of your attorneys, or you've, created files and put them in a banker's box and, pre-marked the file tabs, exhibit number 1, this is it. This is your banker's box. How do you get these exhibits in here? It's so great and simple. You literally drag and drop them. So you can drag and drop files, you can drag and drop any file type, and they will just literally appear in here. The private folder is for the taking party and taking party team only. No one else can see it. So when you load these exhibits, nobody else can see it. If polling law wants Mindy to be, to have access, we'll give her access to that. You just have to tell us you need that. So here are all the supposed exhibits that are going to be introduced during the M.W. Harrison deposition. So how do you introduce exhibits? How do I stamp them? So I'm going to click on this box to the left of the 2025 Midwest calendar, which you should all be receiving. I can send a bunch. And then what that does is it brings down a drop-down menu. At the bottom of this menu, it says introduce exhibit. Now, in my opinion, that should say mark exhibit, but that's the language for now. I do believe they are changing that. So I clicked on that introduce exhibit button. And what that does is it brings up exhibit options here on the left, where you can add a stamp, which is step number 1. So I'm going to add a stamp to it. It defaults to the lower right corner. It says exhibit plaintiff 3. Okay, I don't like where it's sitting because it's covering language I might want to read to the witness or might want to have the witness look at. So I'm going to move that exhibit sticker. I'm going to move it up here. Okay, now it says exhibit 3, but you can change this to anything you want. It's alphanumeric, 8 characters. It doesn't matter if they're in order. The next exhibit that I show you will come up as plaintiff's exhibit number 4. You add the prefix, you add the witness, and then you can scroll down and change even the color. And I always recommend display date, change the color, save prefix, suffix to exhibit name. You're good to go, and you don't have to fill that in every time you mark an exhibit. Okay, now I'm going to click on introduce exhibit. This is the point where it gets pushed out to your opposing counsel, to anybody else who is attending the deposition in a viewer mode. The viewer equals marked exhibit mode, not private folder mode. So exhibit has been introduced. That means that everybody in the deposition, just like an in-person deposition, was basically handed this exhibit. Okay, picture, if you've been in a deposition, picture that hard copy going out to everybody. You can view this in a better light by clicking on view exhibit. Again, this is the taking party. And I could have moved that over a little bit, I guess. If this was multiple pages, you can literally, well, it is multiple pages. You can hover over the middle and you can go to the next page by clicking on that arrow. Here's the back of the calendar that everybody loves, right? You can find out the day you were born, and you can make it bigger by clicking on, I'm making it smaller. You can make it bigger. You can make it smaller, whatever your choice may be, and everybody else can do the same thing. Okay, so when you are done with that exhibit, I'm going to show you what happens. I'm going to click the back arrow and I'm going to go to the marked exhibit folder. You can see it's right up here. And this is what everybody else sees. They don't see your private folder with your loaded exhibits. They see the Midwest calendar, they click on it, and you're all looking at the same thing. And then you can question, the attorney can question whatever they need to on that exhibit. I suggest when you use this, it's always a good idea, but doesn't have to be, to use an external monitor or maybe even a separate device like an iPad or even an iPhone. Maybe not so great for exhibits. I think I'd put the Zoom on the iPhone and use the computer for the exhibits. But you can use many devices, so you can log into this on another device. I use several screens when I work. I don't know, I think most people do, but I would always suggest an external monitor or a separate device. I go back to the private folder and I want to introduce another exhibit, and I want to show you what happens when you go to the next one. So I'm going to click on this exhibit that says smoking gun, which reminds me to mention, when you put your exhibits in here, this is the name they're going to appear in the marked exhibit folder with the exhibit stamp. So you obviously don't want to name an exhibit smoking gun, right? So you want to name it what you want everybody to see it as. So again, the drop-down menu down on the right, introduce exhibit. And the reason I want to show you another one is because it's going to come up as exhibit number 4. And this is already pre-filled. So the smoking gun is the exhibit share FAQs. Not so smoking, but we'll add a stamp to that. Again, we're covering stuff. Simply, we can change that stamp. When we first introduced this product, that was not even an option. So this is really great. Your exhibit is stamped. Click on introduce. Now it's being pushed out to everybody. I, as a taking attorney, want to view that bigger. So it shows up bigger for me. And then the people who are attending the deposition, I don't know why that happened. The people that are attending the deposition, let's see, let's do this over and see if it happens again. I've never seen that, by the way. Okay, add stamp, introduce, view. Here's your exhibit name that you don't want to name an exhibit. And I should click on that back arrow. There we go. And it shows up in the marked exhibit folder. And this is what everybody sees. At the end of the deposition, not only the taking party, but the participating parties can download all the exhibits, which is really convenient because when an in-person deposition takes place, those exhibits that the reporter keeps, the marked ones, they actually go to a scanning center. They're scanned and delivered with the final transcript. So these you can have right away when you're using exhibit share. Any questions on exhibit share? It's relatively straightforward. And again, I do a ton of demos on this, and I love doing them because I have attorneys that think they can't do it. They'll say, I'm old, I can't do technology. I say, yes, you can. I'll make you an expert, I promise you. And by the time I'm done, they're an expert in it. They feel comfortable and it's easy. There are some people who just super easy. They don't even have to ask a question about it, but it is really an easy product. All these things I'm showing you today, I will walk you through one-on-one. Any questions about exhibit share? So just know that exhibit share is different than screen share. That's probably the biggest thing. So when you're ordering, you don't want to order exhibit share if you plan on screen sharing. And how I delineate it to clients is I say, look, you don't need to take, not everybody needs exhibit share for a deposition. You don't need to take a Mack truck to the grocery store if you're buying 2 bags of groceries, right? You don't need exhibit share if you have 5 PDFs that you're going to show. It's probably easier just to screen share them. and it's less costly. This does have a cost to it. It's $395, and it includes, everybody on your team. So the taking party would pay for that. Now, I also will say we do case pricing, and sometimes we can adjust that if you have a volume of depositions. So that is Exhibit Share. Now, I want to talk about Smart Summary, our newest. Wait a minute, I want to share it a little bit better for you here. Okay. It's an AI-generated transcript summary. It's not a replacement for a paralegal's work. A lot of times you're asked to summarize every deposition. Some firms don't summarize any. Some summarize before they go to trial if they need to. But this is just a service that we offer that I think is phenomenal. AI generated. Remember I showed you the security that we have? This is contained in a closed architecture environment. Your Smart Summary productions do not pull from anything like a ChatGPT would. It doesn't pull from anything but the particular deposition that we're summarizing. So it is a very secure product. And again, it's AI generated, closed architecture environment. It is not on the cloud. Nobody else can access this, only you can. And as you can see on this, it comes to you in a Word format, in a table format. I love this format because you can edit it. You can highlight things, you can add to it, you can subtract to it. If I didn't mention the cost, from 1 to 50 pages of transcript, it's $49. From 1 to infinity, it's $99, which is really, I think, a bargain. Now, if you like this, and if you schedule a deposition with us and you want to try it out, you don't have to tell Veritext I told you this, but contact me or your rep, and I will send you a sample summary at no charge. Okay, so you can look at it and you can see if you like it. I've done this with several clients. They've called me back and say, hey, I'd like a Smart Summary on 38 depositions. So I always think it's better to try before you buy. But I'm showing you this now so that you know that it's available. Personally, I'm not sure, every rep does things differently, but personally, I have opted all my firms out of Smart Summary. And this is just a slide to show you, okay, here's the deposition. Here's the 1,000,000 pages that you have to summarize that are going to take you forever. We all know about that, right? And you can always put this into ChatGPT, but guess what? You are not going to have the page and line reference numbers. So back to what I was saying about Smart Summary. I think the best thing to do is try it before you buy it and just see if you like it. It's not meant to replace a paralegal's work. And I think it's really, really well worth the cost. Now, I'm going to ask you guys, do you have any questions? Somebody, Andrew, Tyler, come on.
You said Mindy has used this before. Mindy, did you use the Smart Summary?
No, we haven't. We saw the demo for it, but we haven't actually utilized it because we have clients and attorneys who like old school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Some
Yeah.
people are afraid of technology. I won't name names, but his name's on the wall.
Yeah. Well, Mindy, so I know the person I think you're speaking about, and he thinks it's a great idea. So if you have a deposition that you would like me to send a Smart Summary on, just to give an idea, I think that's a wise thing to do, and I'm happy to do that. And again, I'm not pushing this. I started to tell you, as the rep to the firms that I work with, I opt you all out of this. Why? Because I don't want to have you receive this and get billed for it and then email me and say, hey, I didn't ask for this. Why did I get billed for it? So that eliminates that issue. But what you would have to do if you do want it is let us know. Does that make sense? Because I'm not a fan of, just sending this to everybody, billing them for it, having the company billing them for it and saying, hey, what the heck? I will say a glitch will happen every now and then. I opted out of firm, a Cleveland firm. They took a deposition in LA and they got a smart summary from LA and got billed from LA for it. And they're like, what? We opted out of this. And I said, yeah, you did. I'll take care of it for you. No problem. So those kind of things happen, if one of our calendar client service people maybe check a box that they shouldn't, that can happen. But again, a great product if you need it.
Karen,
And
have you ever had any, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Have you ever had anybody have it and then not like it?
No, actually, I have not. And I presented it to a firm who, I try to get to as many places as I can and say, look, I would recommend opting out. Now they have 6 depositions in one case coming up, and I'm going to send that to them and maybe 1 or 2 free of charge, so they can get a feel for what it is. I hope that answered your question.
It did. Thank you.
Okay.
And Karen, I'll just jump in here real quick. I've met with some attorneys who have tried to figure this kind of thing out on their own and trying to figure out how to use AI to summarize some of their transcripts. And so this has become somewhat of a solution for them, and they're starting to try it out and seeing how that works. And I would reiterate, I think it's great for folks to try out first before you buy it, and then if you like it, you can get it on every deposition you take if you want. So,
right, if you want, that's the key, and I think that's a really good way to introduce it without being, pushy about it, or a client feeling like maybe somebody is trying to charge them more just because. So I think that is a great thing. Anybody else? And here's a picture of it a little bit more up close. You can see page line ranges. And I've actually looked at this and compared it to a deposition. And I was shocked at how accurate it was. And I thought, wow, this really is a great product. If you need it. And you can, this is highlighted done by, whoever received this. This is you can put tags on it. You can share it with your teammates. You can use this in, I know that certain insurance companies have certain formats that they like, and we can also provide those formats depending on the type of deposition or hearing that it is. So that's constantly evolving too. But again, formatted specifically for legal use with page line references, fully editable in Microsoft Word, securely produced and delivered via a safe AI model through an encrypted file. And like I said, everything we do is encrypted. You will not receive a transcript except maybe if it's a rough and it's 9 o'clock at night and the reporter has to send it to attorneys. Usually they'll send it through us to send encrypted, but sometimes that can't happen due to the circumstances and the timing. So these are all the key points of Smart Summary. Again, just want to make you aware. Okay, I think that's important.
Karen, do you have any competitors in this field?
With the Smart Summary, I think we were the first to introduce it, but yes, others are coming out with it. We are not the only ones, I will tell you that. I will tell you that we are the first. I've heard good things from clients about it. I've heard that they really like it. With the exhibit share, I've heard, so I asked a client if they would be interested in participating in the beta testing, and his response to me was, can it get any better? And I'm like, yeah, it will get better. You'll really love it. So hopefully he's taking part in that. I hooked him up with our beta people. But yeah, and some of the, interfaces are a little bit different. We're changing our ExhibitShare interface to be totally on a Veritext platform versus the Ignite platform. It's just not ready for release at this time. But there are, there's nuance, there's differences between each company.
Sure.
And I'm not familiar with all our competitors' products. I'm familiar with some, but to answer your question, yes, others have it. On the flip side of that, I'm sure there's a lot who do not have it. Okay, because it's a higher level technology, and if it's a smaller firm, they may not have invested in that, or they may not, or they may not take the type of jobs, that type of assignments that need stuff like this.
Sure.
But, that's the differentiator between Veritext and a smaller court reporting firm.
Mhm.
So we
Yeah.
offer all the basics, the court reporting, the videography, the MyVeritext, and we offer CLEs. If you go on our website, www.veritext.com, you can find all that stuff. I'll send that to Lori. She will have that to send out to you. I'll actually also send you our security white paper, which reviews our security. So if you have a case and your attorney says, hey, this is a highly confidential thing, hook me up with somebody who has great security. I'll send you that, and anything else I think of in the meantime that might be helpful to tag on to this presentation.
Great. Thank you, Karen. Thanks for answering my questions. Appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Are there any others? No? If not, you guys get 10 minutes back. Like I said, go on our website. The tutorials for ExhibitShare for MyVeritext, they're very short. I suggest scrolling down those pages and you'll see little bubbles, ExhibitShare for taking attorney, ExhibitShare for witness, ExhibitShare. So those are very, very, very helpful. And of course, you've got me and I'm happy to, and you've got Andrew and you've got Tyler. We're all happy to help. We'll all pitch in to make your experience the best that it possibly can be. Don't be afraid of this technology. Like I said, if I can do it, I think anybody can do it. I got great joy out of teaching people who thought they couldn't use it, and they were able to use it. So we're here for you.
Well, thank you
Okay.
so much, Karen, for sharing your time and your expertise, and thank you everyone for attending.
Was this helpful to you? That's what I want to ask before we go, and then we'll connect. And if there's anything else that, any other questions you have, I can address that in my follow-up email to you that you can share with the group. Good?
Got it. Great.
Okay. Thank you all for attending. I appreciate your time and attention. I really do. And I look forward to hopefully working with you. And even if we're not your number one, it's great to be your number two. So let me know how we can help. Okay?
Thank you.
Everybody have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Heather.